Welcome, Solara here. I hope you guys are doing well today. Before I begin anything, I want to give a very heartfelt thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you for getting me to 3K subscribers in like a month. I'm absolutely floored. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you if you are coming in for the first time. Welcome if you're here for the first time. Welcome if you are returning, and thank you again. I wanted to come on here tonight. I've had a few I've had a lot of activity happening today, like in terms of psychic energy and downloads and all that other stuff. But I really want to go. I want to go into like investigative mode and go and read. But I will let you know some of the things that are coming in and are becoming very obvious to me at this point. There have been freezer spells done against some of us. These spells are designed normally to like freeze your progress, freeze your assets, freeze your ability to access your abundance, freeze your creative flow, any area in your life that they can shut down. It's kind of to keep you stuck. It's to freeze you in a timeline, you know, that whoever is behind this is more comfortable with. Usually it's to freeze you to then cause some manner of panic and despair, so then you are, you know, it's open season for harvesting, okay? But we know that's not working, and all of this is reversing. And that came through very clearly to me, that there have been a lot of freezer spells, or spells that, you know, revolve around that energy of trying to stop someone in their tracks or freeze them or freeze what it is they're doing. A lot of that's been returned almost instantly. There has been, what my guides were showing me, a lot of Venus sex magic happening, and I feel like it's been happening all week, but I feel there was like some kind of culmination of it yesterday, or this is an ongoing thing that's going to be a big part of some of the rituals happening all the way up to the full moon in Leo, which is next Sunday, the 5th of February. This again is tied into sacral energy theft. It's tied into divine unions. It's tied into ruining people's love, their money. It's also very, very intricately tied into those who desire to cloak themselves in your energy for purposes of, you know, for beauty, for celebrity, for fame, for power, for all of those things that you as a divine being naturally carry in your energy field. Okay? What else? What else? Okay, so I think I mentioned this briefly yesterday. I can't take full credit for this download. It actually it began with a reading I was watching on Wednesday, and something went off in my own psychic insight about some of this. This reader was speaking about how there's a lot of she was speaking about how there's a lot of building of energy that's been being prepared for this full moon in Leo, and it's like there's a lot of harnessing of energy for some big rituals. And when she said that, she said in her reading, it feels like this isn't something small. It feels like this is something that they've been, you know, putting together since like the last full moon or even longer. And when she said that, I was just like, oh, full moon in Leo. No, it wasn't just then. For many of us, they've been doing this since the new moon in Leo. And the new moon in Leo, if I'm correct, was I think at the very end of July. And it was about, I want to say maybe like 10 days before the culminate, like the apex of what they call the 8-8 portal. And the reason why there's a lot of this stuff that occurs around Leo energy is because if you think about it, Leo is ruled by the sun. And if you break the sun down into linguistics, in many languages it's soul, right? S-O-L. But solar energy has a lot to do with your energy as a divine being. And and I've mentioned this before, a lot of the codes that you receive around the 8-8 portal are the codes that give you access to your own solar codes that are here to help you thrive and do what it is you have to do. Now, for the longest time, they've been intercepting that and stealing from you and harnessing and harvesting. And this is partly what their secret societies and orders are about, right? And the fact that this whole, your solar energy is very interconnected to your solar plexus energy. Leo energy is 5th house energy. It's the energy of childhood and play and pleasure, right? And your solar plexus energy is attached to your childhood experiences and a lot of your inner child joy, but your inner child wounding. And the whole old world system, or the matrix as we call it, was run off of wounded child energy. And what I mean when I say that is every system and institution was created, the whole template that they were built upon was in order to create, from a very early age, schism within self. And it happened through all manner of things, through, I don't want to get into the semantics, but as children, the systems that we grew up in, even the way that we're told family is supposed to be and school is supposed to be, it's all preparation for you to be miserable as an adult so that you're more easy to manipulate and control. Okay, because a wounded person, when you can split someone in their own energy field, then you can take control of their vehicle, which is your chariot, which is what your solar codes fuel, kind of. So if you can split a person, you can put them into a lower vibration. I don't have my trusty vibrational scale. Wait a minute. 1 second. We can fix that. Ta-da! Where's my pencil? Okay. So here is the vibrational scale. Okay? It's not perfect because I painted it, right? They try to keep you, we're going to go over this again, in energies really, ultimately they want to keep you around here, in desire and below, cycling through these energies. So anytime you hit desire, you don't really make it up. And if you do make it up, you might make it to anger or to pride, right? So they kind of want to keep you at pride, but preferably in this area here. Because if you're ever wanting and never getting, that's also going to do something to you, psychologically, psychically, to your energy field. And many of you know what I'm talking about, because if you're vibing with me, if you resonate with my content, then you are one of these people who have gone through that cycle, not only socially, as part of the social makeup of the old world, but you've also been subjected to it in a very targeted way for other purposes, for more nefarious purposes, right? So that's kind of the point. And when you can do that, when you can access a person from childhood and keep them in that lower level, ever wanting but never really achieving, so therefore plummeting back into shame, and then guilt for not achieving, and then the fear of never, if you can keep somebody in that low vibration, you can easily manipulate and control them, because we were not created to live in that energy. The energy of shame is to show us where we have hurt someone else or even hurt ourselves, and we now need to recover to rise back into our divinity. It's not a state that we're supposed to stay in or live in, because when that happens, our energy field becomes stagnated. Okay? And these freezer spells are here to stagnate people. Another energy is working with stagnancy through other methods, whether it's stagnancy through water. Another download that was coming in also is that a lot of them are trying to work now with earth energy, which is a really stupid thing to do. They're literally trying to take the element of earth, literal earth, and to work and to ask it to like, it's almost like to cannibalize itself, because it's really stupid. The earth is ascending. It's trying to kick you out, and you want to use it for what? You think that's going to work. Again, it's this disconnection with spirit. They don't have a connection with spirit. And for the longest time, for as long as we didn't have a connection with spirit, they were able to run the energies of this planet and keep it constantly recycling through us, because we as divine beings, we are the bridge between heaven and earth. We bring down into the earth plane what was always meant for the earth as already written in the heavens. And at every turn, they try to interrupt that connection. And so 1:22 on my clock. A lot of the old world systems were run off of the pain of the masses, but run off specifically of the pain of divine beings, because your power to create and to magnify an energy tends to be bigger because of who you are. And so a lot of the purpose of these secret societies and orders was to get access to families, to access their bloodlines spiritually, to then fuck with those who are of divine lineage, because a lot of us are spread out across bloodlines, especially as we got closer to 2000, like the turn of the millennium and ascension was getting closer. More of us were being incarnated into the earth, especially after the 60s, because of other fuckery that occurred, where ascension was supposed to have happened sooner, as far as I've been told, but because of a lot of messing around, and anyway, it was delayed. And when that happened, a lot of us began to incarnate in order to make sure that it was going to be on time, or that it was going to happen in a timely manner, if that makes sense. So as such, these societies, you know, they have access to, they had access to us through those people who pledged. And in pledging, a lot of the time there's some kind of a blood oath, you know, especially the higher up you go in these certain societies. And sometimes you don't have to have a blood oath. Sometimes the very contracts that you get into in the matrix through corporations, because of the sacrifice of your life force through the work that you do for them, you already are kind of contracting yourself, but on a lower level. When you enter like the secret societies and the orders that are ultimately like a pyramid scheme, below the really, really invisible ones that are the true puppet masters, that's all about recruiting people at various levels in order to infiltrate family lines, in order to control the narrative by shutting down divine beings. And indeed, some of these people who pledged into these societies were divine beings themselves, and they forfeited what it was that they had, and they didn't know, you know. But why am I saying all this? Because with this new moon, this full moon in Leo, this is all about the culmination of a big cycle that occurred from the new moon in Leo of soul harvesting. And please bear in mind that this has been happening like pretty much every year around this time. But this year, because right before Leo season, we had a full moon in Capricorn, in Cancer season, that was really kind of like, it was a beginning of the end of a really major karmic cycle. It's when most of the karmic contracts energetically came to a close, because then we started to move into judgment energies. Now, because a lot of these energies, entities continue to persist and try to hold on to people, this is part of the reason why we have so much warfare. But the warfare is necessary, because the warfare is actually the divine's design for us too, because it's through the warfare that we wake up to who we are, and we learn how to wield the power of our gifts, and we reconnect, and we remember, which is to do something again and to put things together again. We remember who we are in order to usher in certain energies, codes that can only come into the earth when we have reclaimed our sovereignty and our vessels, and we become bridges again. Okay? I hope that's making sense. Alrighty, so there's a lot of stuff going on around that. There's a lot of intensity. You're going to continue to feel it up until this full moon in Leo and even after. And as we move into the new moon in Aries, I feel like things are going to stabilize a little bit, but I feel like my guide said to me from the beginning, this window of time between last week's new moon in Aquarius and next week's full moon in Leo is the opening of an energetic window. This is like the seeding of an energetic window in order for everything that's been taken from divine beings to begin to be returned. And so right now, this is why I was saying in one of my videos yesterday, right now, when your enemy or people who have like unsavory designs towards you, the ones who've been doing this to you time and time again, when they come into your energy field right now, they may not be aware of what they're doing, but what they're actually doing is gifting you back your power. And part of it has been through warfare. And there was a part of warfare where many of us had to to fight and protect and all of that ourselves. And it's not that that part is over. It's just that there's been a shift because truly, like in the heavenlies, the battle has already been won. But because a lot of them aren't actually in tune with that, they're not aware of that. So when they're coming into your energy field now, what they're actually coming to do is give you more information about the truth of what has been happening. What they're coming to do is to help you unlock your magic, your power, the things that they tried to keep from you, the things that they tried to harness from you. It's like this is the grand transference and it's happening energetically. And so if you are in alignment and you're in your power, I'm going to repeat this message from yesterday, then you don't have to worry right now and you don't have to fear. If anything, they should be afraid of you. Okay? So I want to get into some of the stuff that I've been picking up on. I kind of want to go into investigative mode and go into the cards. There was another download that was courtesy of somebody who commented. I don't like to name people because I don't know if a lot of us people are trying to keep their anonymity right now with good reason. And so I don't like to put people's names out there, but I do want to thank the person who wrote this, and she was explaining her own experience. And the download I got about that was it's to do with divine unions and why so many of us who have a design to be in divine union with another romantically, right? Why there's been so much backlash against us coming together beyond some of the things that we already know and that I've already talked about. And what my guides were beginning to show me through her comment was that because so many of us have been being harnessed for our sacral chakra energy, or I should say for our solar plexus and our sacral chakra energy, but it seems that the sacral chakra is the way that all of our energies from the crown all the way through the solar plexus, it's how it's birthed. It's a birthing canal, hence the reason why it's almost like how pirates like to stop a ship on the ocean. That's kind of the energy there, right? And so it's like trying to take all your goods. It doesn't make sense to stop at, it's because it's a delivery canal. Let's put it that way. That's how they're showing it to me. But what a lot of this energy is about, including the reading that I did yesterday night, where I was speaking to you guys about this energy of this person who doesn't want to let go of this muse, right? The good fortune card. This person's been bringing them a lot of fortune, a lot of money, a lot of luck. That was another thing. Some of you are literally someone's like lucky charm. That was another download, like lucky charm. Your energy gives them luck and money and finances and access or whatever. They don't want to let go. They never wanted you in romantic union with anyone because there's a certain level or vibration that if you are able to unlock it with another person sexually, it gives them access. It would have given you and that person access to your sacral wealth. I hope this is making sense. So the whole point of keeping you either preferably completely separate and alone, preferably celibate, or just giving away all of your sexual energy to meaningless exchanges, right? Keeping your energy in a state of either scatteredness so you can access it and they could, or keeping you on lock, right? The whole point of that was to be able to have full access to your sacral energy. They didn't want you in any relationships that weren't stagnant or abusive. And even then, for some of you, they didn't want you in those relationships at all because of the fact that sexual union with another, if you're able to connect with, and it didn't even necessarily have to be with a divine partner. Now, the divine partner is a whole other level, because what sexual union is designed to help you do is also usher in very, very powerful energies into the earth plane that are important for seeding new earth relational dynamics. But for some of you, it's not even about that. It's just the act of being able to have let's put it this way, high vibrational sex with another. And high vibrational sex is sex where two hearts are in connection and there's actual love, and it's not just rooted on lust and physicality and everything that they sold sex as being in the old world, because that was the whole purpose also, was to keep people out of accessing their spiritual truth by way of sex, because it's a very, very powerful portal, very powerful gateway. Okay, so I kind of want to go into that. I don't know what cards. I feel like we're being called to Oracles of Shadows and Light again, and the Kipper deck. Which one should I begin with? I'm seeing the Kipper deck. Let's begin with the Kipper deck. Let me shuffle a little bit and see what's going to come out for us tonight. You guys may have noticed a very big change in your sex drive in the past 3 years. I want to say since around 2020, when the onslaught of attacks against divines really picked up. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to your own drive, whether you are sexually active or whether you are celibate. Pay attention. And this was it. This was the download that was coming through so strongly. There is either a person or a group of people who are using someone's picture in order to in like sexual rituals right now. It's like they're using someone's picture, and at the point of climax, they're directing certain energies towards that picture. And please bear in mind when I say that, what I was getting wasn't necessarily that it's like a lustful energy. It's the energy of trying to like invade someone else's energy field through the power of sex. So it's not, for some of you, it might very well be someone who lusts after you. I don't remove that out of the picture, but the point of it is to penetrate your energy field through the power of the sexual energy they're raising, and specifically to target the sacral chakra. Thank you. Cannot forget that message. Yeah. What do we have here, guys? What do we got here? Oh my gosh, it's the Thief card. It's the Thief card. It's the Thief card. It's very interesting because if you look at this, right, the Kipper deck is set in Victorian England, right? So it's like It's like I don't know if you can see, my camera isn't the best. I'm pushing the picture in for you to see it. Some of you might have this deck and you might want to take a look at this card. This child is pickpocketing this wealthy man. And there's a woman behind. She's not with him. Her boobs are like, she's got like cleavage, and she clearly is trying to send him a sexual message to distract him while this kid can then steal from him. And you can't really see, but in this picture, this guy's eyes kind of look like they're glazed over, like he's in a trance. And she's dressed in orange and she's leaning over so you can see her cleavage. But what's really interesting in this picture is that even though she's leaning over to show her cleavage, it's not directed for him to see. He's in a trance and she's behind. It's almost like in this deck, they want you to see what's actually up behind the thievery. Okay, so what's behind this thievery is sexual energy. Okay, and I feel like this is an attack against the collective, but I feel like it's really targeting the divine masculine collective right now. I really do. And you know what? I'll take it further. I feel like it is targeting our masculine energy, our yang energy. But it's also targeting those people who would classify themselves as being divine masculines, whether you're male or you're female or non-binary. Some people just have more masculine energy than feminine, right? So there's something here about utilizing that energy right now to steal. Okay, so for some of us, it's like they're targeting people's energy using sex energy, wanting to penetrate your energy field through the power of raising sexual energy. For others, it's very targeted, it's against the sacral. And for others still, it's like they're trying to put obstacles in the path of certain people utilizing sex energy to get them off path. Because think about it. Your masculine energy, your yang energy, this is like a high priestess and emperor energy, 2 and 4, right? It's about secretly doing things to rock your foundation. Okay, because the emperor energy is all about creating your foundation, but it's also Aries energy, so it's all about the connection to your divine identity. It's how the energy of source is able to enter your energy field to begin with, because Aries energy is the crown. So there's something here about using this to bring confusion, to cause separation. And the way it's happening is in very many different ways. For one thing, it wants to cause separation in an individual, right? So to fuck with your energy field, because if you have a schism, if they can cause separation within and take you out of union with self, then you get drawn back into those lower vibrations of cycling through what I was showing you in the vibrational scale. The whole purpose of this is always to take you back into that cycle so that you are more easily manipulated or controlled. Okay, so on the one hand, it's happening on an individual level. On another hand, it's an attack against unions, wanting to put obstacles, especially using sex energy when it comes to, like other energies, to distract, to cause separation with what is to come. There are many unions coming. Remember that reading last night? The main focus of this person who had been imprisoning this main female, his main focus and what he was trying to keep her out of was this lover's energy. And he knew she was expecting it, and he was expecting it too, or they were expecting it too. And they were in deep thought, how do we block this female from moving forward on her pathway, which we know the next stop for her to move into her new cycle and break out of this imprisonment, because these energies, the low vibrational energies, they are prisons. It's an energetic prison. If you can get somebody cycling through something again and again and again, it creates a prison. It creates an energetic prison. It creates a mental prison where somebody thinks that they cannot get past a certain juncture. And you know, one of the best ways I can think to illustrate this right now is there was somebody who was telling me something about Tangled, right? And it kept on coming up for me, this, you know, Tangled. And so I finally watched it with my kids yesterday. And my gosh, that did a work on my heart. But that's a whole other story. But if you've seen Tangled, then there's a point in Tangled where Rapunzel says, fuck this shit. I want to get out of this tower. I'm going to send my stepmother, Mother Gothel, I'm going to send her to go and do this errand for me, and then I'm going to escape. And so she, long story short, she gets out of the castle with this guy, right? And he's taking her to where she wants to go. She wants to see these lanterns or whatever that are released every year on her birthday, and she has no idea they're in honor of her, right? So she finally gets out of the tower, and she, for the first time in 18 years of her life, she exits this tower, okay? And pay attention, because they tell you everything they do to you in their movies, because they have to. It's universal law. They have to tell you some way, shape, or form what it is that they've done, okay? Or what it is that they're doing, or the truth, right? So the first time in 18 years, she's free of this tower. And when she first gets out, you see, they capture it really interestingly enough. You see her, the back and forth, the back and forth. I'm so happy to be out. Oh shit, I'm a terrible daughter. I should go out. This is why I should have never left. And every time she hits like a difficult moment, that kind of could cause her to crumble, this is where the fight within her occurs. Like, oh my gosh, I should have never left the tower. What my mother said was right all along. I'm so stupid. I'm this, I'm that. And then divinely something would occur and she'd get on the other side. And the more she kept pushing past this, the more she would get free, until it got to the point where she began to then begin to see the lie. And she began to realize, wait a minute, what my mother said about me isn't true. She said I'd never survive out here in the real world, and look at me, I'm kicking ass. All of this stuff began to become, she began to see the truth, and her prison began to fall. That's because the prison that Mother Gothel had her in, the tower, was a physical representation of what she had done to her mentally. Okay? Another example of this, you see it in the circus. Elephants are huge. If they kick someone, it could end them. But these elephants have been trained from the time that they're babies to be afraid. They've been trained to think that they're 144 on my clock. They've been trained to not know their own power. And that is a form of imprisonment. So a lot of the time, they don't have to cage the elephant. The elephant will just stay there and not do anything, because the elephant doesn't know it's an elephant. Okay? This is what has occurred for many people, right? It's the mental imprisonment, and this is ultimately what they're trying to put you back into, because at the bottom of the deck we do have again this imprisonment card. It's again this energy of trying to isolate someone, but it's secret, because we have the 2 and the 4 and the 2 and the 9. The 2 is the high priestess energy, so they're thinking that they can do this shit in the dark, keep it secret, and you won't know that they're trying to rock your foundation while they steal from you, and they're trying to distract, right? Or you won't know that they're trying to isolate you and put you back in the prison and the cage that they had you in before, where as long as you were imprisoned and caged, you couldn't have access to your own riches, and you couldn't share them with someone else, and you couldn't be with someone else who would activate you, who would further activate you into your divine wealth and abundance. Again, for some of you, this is a family situation, okay? We have what's come out here is the family room. A lot of shit goes down in this family room, in this deck, right? And this is the Magician and the High Priestess. Secret things done. Yeah, secret things done in order to manifest off of you, to put you into poverty. Okay? So this is all about keeping you in energies of lack. Because again, that imprisonment energy, which is back in the deck now, but that imprisonment energy, almost fell off my chair. If they can keep you in this energetic cage, cycling through these energies, then you are, you're not only easily manipulated, but the reason you're easily manipulated is because you're in a state of lack. They're keeping you in the red. You see where they get some of their terminology from? They're keeping you in the red. And if you're in a state of lack because you're a divine being who creates off of how you feel very, very powerfully, then you are in poverty and they're not. And for some of you, again, there's this energy right now of them trying to switch their karma onto you. Okay, so a lot of them have a natural vibration of lack. Naturally, that's their vibration, but because they've been cloaking themselves in your energy and using your energy to create their reality, that's what gave them access. And now they're stuck with their own energy, their own vibration, and they're trying to throw it back on you. I don't want this. You take it. You should be impoverished, not me, right? There's a message at the bottom. There's some kind of message that either this person has gotten, because we have this dude here again, deep in thoughts about about this muse energy, right? Deep in thought. What am I going to do? Because there's something here. There's adjudication. There's some kind of it could be real court. It could be real court for some of you. There could be something going on in like legally in the legal system for some of you, but it also can be it's also spiritual. It's also spiritual in the sense that it's almost like they might be going before someone to plead their case. It could be you. They could be thinking about whether it's the right thing to come before you and kind of like, I don't want to say like be completely open, but do something in order to plead their case, even if it's underhanded kind of thing. There's a time factor here. There's a time factor here. And there is a crown at stake. There is a crown at stake. And this energy keeps on coming up. The energy of crown and coronation. This is not a mistake. Crown and coronation, even in the video I did a few weeks ago about, that entity energy, again, that was coming out in the temperance. Somebody was sent out to steal your crown. Okay, again, that crown energy is Aries energy. Aries season is of significance for the getting back of your crown, which is why there's a lot of this, let's figure out what to do to get you back in a lower vibration cycle, circle, loop, so that we can imprison. And indeed, I think, even the symbol for one of their main entities, which is Leviathan, one of them, I think the symbol for that is like, it's a line and then it's like the infinity, the 8 on the side, which could be a snake eating itself, kind of like the Ouroboros, but it's been twisted for one thing, and then there's been a line put in the center. It's almost like what my guys were showing me. It's the energy of trying to keep people stuck in karmic cycles in order to feed. And if you know anything about the Leviathan spirit, you'll know that it's a very strong entity of pride. And what did I tell you here just now? What do they not want you to go above? Pride. They don't want you to enter your courage. They want to keep you at pride and below, but preferably desire and below. And pride also is the strength card in the tarot. So there we have Leo energy again. So you see how all of this is very interconnected right now. Okay, let's go into the Oracle of Shadows and Light. I want to say also that there's this energy that they've been showing me now for like they've been showing me it for a few years, but I wasn't really getting it until recently. For some of them, they work with, because they work with marine energies, and the whole point of closing down the true Earth grid system, they used certain entities to do that, and then they created maritime law and all that other stuff. The entities they use tend to be, well, they tend to be sea entities, but they also, there's a lot of work with snake energy, right? And there's a reason for that too. I don't know if I want to get into that right now, but there is a reason for that. Snake energy is sacred energy. It's the energy of the Divine Mother, but it's also very connected to the energy of the ley lines, because the ley lines are run by, overseen by dragon energy, and the dragon and snake energy, they work together, you know, one and the same almost. And so, as we've discussed, you know, everything that is divine, they create the counterfeit of it. So as such, there's been a lot of snake energy that they've used in the things that they do. And also we know that the snake is the caduceus and the kundalini rising energy. And the whole point of a lot of this right now is to stop your kundalini rising. Because if your kundalini rises to a certain level, because I feel, this is my opinion, right? I think that we have many times where our kundalini rises. I believe that the kundalini rising is an integral part of the ascension path, right? And some people have it more than others, because when that flame arises, it is kind of like that phoenix energy that clears out what can't be there anymore. There's something about a grand kundalini rising that's happening in this time that's going to bring many of us into this frequency where we cannot be moved anymore from where we are. But also, because we cannot be moved from where we are, then like divine unions are a certainty, if that makes sense. But what I was saying was that some of them have been planting snake entities that were designed. They were designed to gobble up our kundalini snakes. But just one of them. They were designed to gobble up our solar snake. So in the Egyptian canon of thought concerning raising your energy, kundalini is a word that comes from the East, right? But the idea of kundalini rising, raising your energy, is not something that is only, you know, from that part of the world. The ancient Egyptians also spoke about this phenomenon, but instead of having, you know, the female and the male snake that you see in kundalini, the yin and the yang, they called it the solar and the lunar snake. And the solar snake is what you would see as being the white or the golden snake. And then the lunar snake is the black snake. And there's something here that I've been shown about them having used a certain snake entity or energy to place into the energy fields of certain divine beings, almost to like gobble up their solar snake. And you can imagine what kind of tizzy that puts your masculine energy into, within and without. When you think about divine unions and the runner chaser, the runner is normally who? The masculine, right? The man, or the male energy, or the one who identifies. And this is partly why. 1:55 on my clock. It's going to be a long ass reading tonight, I guess. You guys said you like long readings, so many of you did, not all of you. Dried flower fairy, sweet memories. The old era is dead. This is 11. Justice. The old era is dead, and it's like somebody just wants to keep holding on. It's like that energy of, you know, like, it's like that yesteryear energy of wanting to hold. It's the same old, like, thing. Again, it's like the wanting to hold on. But we have the Nautilus Princess, which is interesting because we have this princess again with this shell. Powerful personal growth. You're accessing your power. You're accessing your kundalini. You're reaching this ability to it's gaining this opportunity to break the power of the cycle. And when you break the power of the cycle through this kundalini rising, or through this upgrade, or this addendum to your awakening, as you do that, there will be no more in fact, some of you have already reached that level where there is no more going back. There's no more pulling you down. But for those of you who you're not quite there yet, this is where you're headed. This is why your warfare is intense, because you're reaching a point where none of this stuff will be able to affect you the way it has before. And some of you, that's already happened. And that's happened because you've reached a point of such powerful personal growth where you've broken the power of the spells that had you in this false sense of imprisonment. And not a false sense of imprisonment. You were energetically imprisoned, mentally, emotionally, and definitely spiritually, because all that was happening on this earth plane mentally and emotionally was the enforcement of what they had already done to you spiritually. You broke out of that. And it's almost like this person is like lamenting over the good old days when you were weak. This is what they're in deep thought about. Like, how can I do this? Because there's some kind of legal thing that's pending for this person. There's some kind of legality. There's some kind of court, and I feel like it's real. Like there's something happening on the earth plane, and it's like it's a timely thing. There are legalities involved here, and this person's group, they haven't delivered. And there's almost like it's heating up in their kitchen. They're getting more messages surrounding like the need to hurry up this process of what it is that they've always been doing, and this is what has them deep in thought. We have privileged lady and occupation here. For many of you, they don't want you reaching your, they don't want you accessing your divine potential. They want to keep you, because toil and labor was right underneath that. It's about wanting to keep you cycling through that struggle. Strangely lonely. Again, there's this energy of holding on way too tight. Okay? This is what the card says, strangely lonely. Because some of you, it's not even a loneliness that is, again, with this sweet memories and strangely lonely, what I'm getting here, this is not the energy of someone who is lonely because they miss you. It's like this person is lamenting about the good old days when you were controllable, when they had you by the cojones, when they had you stuck energetically. And they don't want to let go. And the 17 card is the star, not wanting to let you rise into divine alignment to be who it is you came here to be. Your light, what it is they've been taking and monetizing, your light, your energy was not given for them to steal and become rich in the old world. Your light was sent for you to grow and harness yourself in order to bless yourself, and through that bless the world. That's the point. Wow, that's too many cards. I'm not taking all of those. Okay, maybe I will. The signs are with you already. It's time to be brave. The signs are with you already, and it's time to be brave. Okay, so for some of you, this is a message that there's something that you're either having to do or you're going to have to do that's going to require for you to step into. There's something you're going to be required to do to step into the energy of courage, to break free and to move forward. There's something that's going to require for you to be brave. Okay, and I don't say that to put fear in you, because the ancient wisdom card is here. Whatever it is, what I'm getting with this here, it's like it's nothing to be afraid of. It's more like there's something that you have done in this cycle again and again and again, and you're being asked to break it. It could be a behavior, it could be a way of thinking about yourself, it could be the way you interact with this person or group of people, but you're being asked to be brave and to do what it is that you know is right for yourself. That is all about you loving and respecting yourself, right? Because in doing so, you will be unlocking the access back to your own intrinsic magic. Okay, so we have the lady with the Bosch egg, which is ancient wisdom, which also speaks to me about like cosmic egg wisdom. And again, I don't know if you see in the back, but there is a flying ship here. You see, like this deck of cards is like rife with marine like energy to show you what's going on here. But do you see in the background also, it's like in the background, it's very dismal back there. It's like she's walking away with her treasure and with a full recognition that in order to do that, she's had to leave behind some chaos. Like for some of you, the temptation will be not to be a troublemaker. 0202 on my clock. It will be like not to be a troublemaker, or not to cause trouble, or not to bring anything onto a person. But here's the thing. This isn't you bringing anything onto anyone. They've brought it upon themselves. And so now it's going to be time for you to be very firm in how you stand up for yourself. Because it's all connected with you reconnecting with your divine truth and having full access again. And when I say full access, it's not that you don't have access to your own energy, but again, it's a continuation of last night's reading. For many of us, what we're being shown are those tiny little interlinks where something could get in and would want to get in order that we're aware, so that we can deal with it and truly move forward into our new cycle without any of these energies haunting us. Okay, and those are the energies within and the energies without. Okay, because your external reality is only a reflection of what's been happening within. The separation, the schism, all of that stuff is a reflection of what was going on with your own energy body. And when we come back into wholeness and into truth, and we create firm foundations in which we can ground ourselves in our own energy, then our outward reality has no choice but to change. And for some of you, this is what's happening. You've become so grounded in your own reality, your power, and your truth, and your outside reality is like bucking to change. It's wanting to change so badly, but it's coming against these energies of these people, beings, corporations, whoever they might be, factions that are still not wanting to release you into the divine alignment that you fought so hard to attain. We have the three fates. What goes around comes around. Yes, this is destiny, but this is also showing me, again, this is the energy of something has happened time and time again to keep you in this loop. And the reason why you didn't escape the loop was because you buckled. And most of you, the buckling is to this energy of having your heartstrings played with, the sweet memories, that energy of sentimentality. And like this energy of what comes around, I just said it before, like some of you might be battling with this energy of feeling guilty of what's coming for this person or these people. And they may, like I said to you with this adjudication, might want to come in and try to make you feel guilty, because really what they're trying to do is to bargain with you to either buy themselves time or try to mitigate some of what it is that they've created for themselves, or even try to place that karma energetically back on you. And you're being told to be very firm, because you cannot be a martyr anymore. That time is over. You weren't sent here to be a martyr to anyone. You weren't. Okay? It's time. We have a clockwork pumpkin. A wonderful idea, the aha moment. Again, this is that sacral energy. It's time for you to reclaim. For many of you, the message that's coming through, it's time for you to reclaim your time. It's time for you to reclaim all that's been lost. And it's time for you to get full ownership again over everything that is yours, without this constant trying to take. And for many of you, the only way that this is going to end for you, where you can have peace without constant fuckery and people and energies and factions trying to take from you, the only way you can have peace is if you allow for fate. You allow for what goes around to come around for these people. You allow them to take their turn on the wheel of fortune. Many of you have bypassed. You've allowed yourself to be trampled by the wheel of fortune before you allowed it to happen to other people, because that's the, for one thing, for many of you, that's the truth of your heart. But for many of you also, even with that being said, it was still codependency in the past. And now it's just like, nope, this is one of the last loops. This is, now you have to accept that in order for you to move into your rightful place, those who were doing everything they could to usurp and to steal your crown must come down. And for some of you, that's a really difficult thing for you to deal with, especially if, like, okay, we have family room here, especially if this is family. Like, for many of you, it doesn't matter how much someone's betrayed you, you still don't want to see them suffer. But here's the thing, what comes around here, this is what they've been doing to you all this time, and this is what they chose, because we've all been given, and here we have, you know, again, the love is strange. We've all been given divine gifts. We all were given gifts, talents, and powers in order to make it on this earth plane and to do what it is that we came here to do divinely. And too many people have chosen to use those gifts to abuse others. And that's not okay. It's not okay. You know, and so we have at the bottom the Violet Duchess, stifled, bored, and stuck. There's a big clearing energy that's on its way for you. And when that comes, it's going to usher in possibly, you know, court for some of these people. It's going to usher in energies that they're not comfortable in. It's going to usher in for them the very energies that they've been placing you in all this time. But you have to let it happen now. You have to let it happen, and you have to let it happen with compassion, but without guilt. Without guilt, because again, for one thing, that would be guilt that doesn't belong to you. And for another thing, look where guilt is on the vibrational scale. It's just above shame. It's like this is a message for some of you not to get trapped, not to trap yourself now that you're free. And now that you're getting to this place of being very free, don't trap yourself with those energies. They're not yours. And indeed, the sacral chakra is very much tied to where that's where we hold guilt. Ironically enough, or not so much, it's where we hold guilt. Okay, they said go into the empowering questions. Let's wrap this up, because we already, this, have I done readings past? I'm sure I've done readings past an hour at this point, haven't I? Not too many, but this was a reading and downloads. I don't think I started the reading till past the 20-minute part, so point. Messages. 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 211. Double justice. Justice for all the things that have been hidden. That high priestess energy is exposing. And when I say that high priestess energy, I'm talking about the high priestess in you. Your intuition, you're trusting your intuition, you're receiving these messages and no longer pushing them to the side. You know, as you expose the truth, as you allow the truth to be exposed within your own soul, and as you come into agreement with the truth being shown to you, that's how you usher in the energy of exposure on this earth plane. Exactly. Here we go. Right here. How can I help my friends and family? This is going to be, for some of you, the stumbling block that's either going to trap that. Let me put it this way, because I don't like to speak doom and gloom. This is what you're being warned of, because this is going to be what wants to show up as a stumbling block. Your big, beautiful heart. That's really what it is. But you've got to realize that this is what they've taken advantage of all of this time in order to keep you in this state. They thought your kindness was weakness, and they manipulated you, knowing that you don't like to see. You'd rather yourself suffer than see somebody else suffer. They took that beautiful divine quality you have and they used it to trap you. No more. It's time to be tough. It's time to be tough. Look at this again. What do your family and friends like about you? And it came out in reverse. I mean, I don't know what else to say to you. This is what they're trying to tell you now. Like, there's something here about like not caving or giving in to manipulation, because that's what I feel like this what I was saying with this judication card before, and this person wanting to you know, maybe come in, and it's like it's manipulation again. It's like, well, what this card is really saying to you is that whoever is at the helm of this, and for many of you it's family, again, the family room energy at the center, these people don't even like you. They don't like you. They don't respect you. They want you in a prison in order to keep you in poverty so they don't have to be. Last time I checked, that's not love, that's greed. What is your greatest achievement is at the bottom. So this is solar plexus energy. It's time to recover your solar codes for yourself. And this is what's coming in. So we're circling right back to the beginning. Your solar codes, this full moon in Leo. This has been such a trying time for so many of you, because this time around they couldn't get this yearly harvest that they normally do has been unsuccessful. And truth be told, it's been unsuccessful for many years, because while they were able to get some things from you, the more you awoke, the less access they automatically had to your energy and to your solar codes on the 8-8 portal. But this year was a tipping point. It was like there's no more access. And what you've been experiencing since August, a lot of you, has been the tug, the push and the pull to try to get you to release, and you haven't. And so what's coming in right now, this week ahead and moving up to the full moon Leo, it's like they're coming in guns a-blazing. You get it? Because for many of them, the full moon, it's their last opportunity to get something really significant that's going to put you in a new cycle come the new moon in Aries, and is going to usher in karma for them. So time's a ticking. And for some of them, it's going to result in, some of them have been doing illegal things. Illegal things. What you have to understand and overstand is that all of this trafficking that you see happening on the earth plane is just the mirror of what's been happening spiritually. As above, so below. As above, so below. What you're seeing happening with all of the sex trafficking, child, human trafficking, all of that stuff is just a reflection of a bigger picture of what's been happening in the heavenlies. It has to manifest here on the earth realm, almost like a mirror. And so for some of you, it's energetic. The consequences are energetic, but it doesn't mean it doesn't play out in real time in other ways. And this is another message that's coming through. It's an important one again, because there's a lot of third eye and dream fuckery, and that came out yesterday too. And the third eye is very interconnected to your sacral, because both of them are direct linked to your divine feminine or your yin energy abilities to intuit. Be very aware of people taking you to certain places in your dreams. Be aware if you're on a boat. Be aware if you're on any mode of transportation. Be aware if you are in a hotel. Be aware if you are traveling. Be aware of foreign destinations. Okay? Be aware of that. And I don't say that to make you afraid, but I say that to make you be able to see what is actually going on. A lot of the trade that happens astrally, and they don't want you to see what they're doing in your dream state. But this is what it is. I'm going to tell you one last thing and then I'm going to go. I want you, when you think about what I just said, think Epstein Island. Think about how they take people to certain places to do certain things on the earth. Well, it's not too different from what they're doing astrally. So pay attention to dreams where you are with people, you know, especially these people that we're speaking about here, where you're in a hotel, where you're in a foreign destination, where you're traveling with them, or where you're traveling alone and you get separated for there's some kind of trauma while you're traveling, or you're on a boat. Pay attention. And if that happens, when you wake up, ask your guides, what are you showing me? Because a lot of the time at this point, they're just revealing the things that you need to see, because everything must come to the light of day and be exposed. But sometimes there are things that they're wanting you to do. They're wanting you to renounce, to revoke, to call your power back, to pay attention to certain areas where you're being targeted, like maybe your third eye, or maybe they want you to see that there have been freezer spells, or they're wanting you to have this information now, so you know, because the more information you have, the more armored you are, the more you know how to walk in the power and the fullness of your own energy, because knowledge is always power, right? Okay, so I'm going to end there because this was a long ass reading. I hope that it was helpful and insightful. I hope it was clear. I hope I wasn't, too all over the place as I was getting messages. It's been a pleasure reading for you guys as always. If you resonated with the message and it was helpful, then please make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please hit the notification if you want to know when I am uploading more content. Please do comment below. I do read your comments. I have to get back to the ones from yesterday, but I read all your comments long before I actually respond. Yes, if you need to contact me, my email is below. If you would like to work with me, please do check out my services on my website, solarah.info. I've added some new services as of yesterday to make what I do a little bit more accessible to all of you. So if you're interested in working with me after you peruse my site and you see a service, then please make sure to drop me an email, because there's no more checkout on my site, because I want to make sure I know who I'm working with before I agree. So given the climate that we're in. So I think that's it. I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a beautiful rest of your day or your night, whatever time of day it is for you when you're watching this message. Sending you so much love. Until next time, be well.